Welcome back. Please like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. We have some huge breaking news to discuss today regarding South America.
That's right. President Trump just announced a successful military mission called Operation Absolute Resolve.
Wow, what a powerful name. What was the goal of the mission?
The goal was to capture the Venezuelan leader, Nicolas Maduro. President Trump confirmed that U.S. Delta Force operators successfully took him into custody.
Really? How did they do it?
Well, under the direction of President Trump, the soldiers went into a facility in Caracas at night. They extracted Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores.
That sounds like something from a movie. Where are they now?
They were flown to a detention center in New York. They face federal charges for narco-terrorism and drug trafficking.
I see. You know, people must be worried about the soldiers. Was anyone hurt?
President Trump said that no American service members were killed. He praised the military for their precision and hard work.
That is good to hear. But what happens to Venezuela now? Who is in charge?
That is the big question. President Trump says the United States will effectively run the country until it is stable. He also wants American companies to help fix their oil industry to fund the recovery.
Right. And how is the world reacting to this?
It's a mix, honestly. Israel's leader praised President Trump's bold leadership. However, other countries like India are calling for peace and more talking.
Exactly. It is a very complicated situation.
It definitely is. But for now, the Trump administration says this was a necessary step for national security.
It's a historic day, for sure. Thanks for the update, Alex.
You're welcome. See you next time. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our daily news update. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today, we are talking about a very serious situation in Iran.
Right. There are huge protests happening across major cities like Tehran and Mashhad. Why are people so angry, Jamie?
Well, Alex, it is mostly about the economy. Prices are going up very fast. We call that hyperinflation. People are struggling to buy basic things like food.
Wow, that sounds very difficult. And I heard the situation has become dangerous.
Yes, unfortunately. News reports say at least 10 people have died. These are the largest protests the country has seen in 3 years.
That is a big deal. Now, President Trump has weighed in on this, right?
Exactly. President Trump is watching the situation very closely. He posted a stern warning to the Iranian leadership on social media.
What did President Trump say specifically?
He said the United States will come to the rescue of the Iranian people if the government continues to use force against peaceful protesters. President Trump's administration believes the Iranian government is causing a lot of trouble in the region.
I see. So President Trump is telling the Iranian leaders to stop the violence. How is the government in Tehran responding?
Well, you know, they are trying to stop the protests by limiting the internet. They want to stop people from talking to each other. They also blame foreign agents for the unrest.
Right, but it seems like the people are just really frustrated with their own lives and the economy.
Exactly. It is a very tense moment. Some experts are worried that President Trump's words might make things even more heated in the Middle East.
It is definitely a situation to watch. Thanks for explaining that, Jamie.
Of course. Thanks for listening, everyone. We will see you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. Today, we are discussing a very sad story from the beautiful mountains of Switzerland.
That's right, Alex. There was a terrible fire at a famous ski resort called Crans, Montana. It happened during a New Year's Eve party at a local bar.
Exactly. It is being called one of the worst disasters in Swiss history. Authorities say that 40 people lost their lives and 119 others were injured.
Wow, that is heartbreaking. Have the police identified the victims yet?
They have identified 24 people so far. Sadly, 11 of them were minors. Many people were visiting from other countries like Italy, France, and even the United Arab Emirates.
That is so tragic. How did a celebration turn into such a disaster?
Well, investigators found the cause. The bar used candle fountains. Those are like small indoor fireworks for decoration. These displays hit the ceiling and the fire spread very quickly.
Oh, I understand. It sounds like there was a lot of smoke and the patrons had a hard time finding the exits.
Exactly. It was a very chaotic scene. You know, this news has become a major international concern. In fact, President Trump is currently monitoring the situation from the White House to see if any citizens need help.
It's good to hear President Trump and other leaders are paying attention. I also read that the Czech Republic is sending special doctors to help the survivors with their injuries.
Right. Now there is a big debate in Switzerland. Many people want a total ban on indoor fireworks to keep everyone safe in the future.
I agree, Alex. Safety rules are so important. We hope the families find peace during this difficult time.
Well said, Jamie. Thank you for joining us today to learn about this news.
Thanks for listening, everyone. See you next time.
Welcome to the Daily Tech Chat. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we have some very important news about how the government uses computers and technology.
That's right. President Trump just started a new policy called Unbiased AI Principles. It's a big change for how the government uses artificial intelligence, or AI.
Unbiased? What does that mean exactly?
Well, it means that AI should be fair. President Trump wants AI to look for the truth and not take sides in politics.
Wow, that is interesting. So the computer programs shouldn't have a political opinion.
Exactly. The government doesn't want these programs to be used for political lessons. They want them to be neutral tools for all American people.
I see. I also heard something about transparency. What does that mean in this story?
Good question. Often, AI is like a black box. This means we don't know how the computer makes its decisions. But now, President Trump says federal agencies must show exactly how their AI works.
Oh, I get it. It's like a student showing their work on a math test so the teacher knows how they got the answer.
Right. This is very important for things like law enforcement and national security. If people understand the technology, they will trust it more.
That makes sense. Are people happy about these new rules?
Well, it's a mix. Some people like the focus on being fair. Others are a bit worried about how the government defines the truth.
I bet this will change private companies too, right?
You're right, Jamie. Companies that want to work with the government will have to follow these same rules.
Thanks for explaining this, Alex. It's good to know how technology is changing.
Definitely. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Welcome to Tech Daily. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today, we're talking about a big change coming to the world of gadgets and home appliances.
That's right. A new report says that 2026 will be a reset year for the global technology market.
A reset? Wow, does that mean people are stopping buying electronics?
Not exactly. In 2025, the market was huge. Sales reached about $1.3 trillion. But in 2026, experts expect a small drop of about 0.4%.
I see. So the growth is slowing down. Why is that happening?
Well, many people already bought new devices recently. Now they are looking for value. They want things that last a long time and save energy.
That makes sense. I want my phone to last for years. What about different parts of the world?
It is different everywhere. For example, China might see a 5% drop in sales, but regions like Eastern Europe and Africa are actually growing by 3 to 5%.
Interesting. And what about here in North America?
Here, the market is steady but very cautious. This is mostly because of new tariffs and trade policies under President Trump.
Right. President Trump's policies really influence pricing and how products move across borders. It makes companies a bit nervous.
Exactly. It affects the whole supply chain.
So, is there any good news for tech companies?
Oh, definitely. AI computers are becoming very popular. Also, don't forget the 2026 World Cup.
Oh, I love the World Cup. I bet everyone will want a big new TV to watch the matches.
Exactly. That will give TV sales a huge boost in early 2026.
So the lesson is, brands must focus on what local people really need.
Precisely. Thanks for listening to our tech update.
See you next time.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our show. Today, we're talking about some big news from China. Jamie, have you ever tried to start a business?
Oh, Alex, it is so difficult. Usually there is so much paperwork and a lot of waiting.
Well, Shanghai is changing the game. They just launched their 2026 Action Plan for Business. It's actually the 9th version of their reform plan.
Wow, version 9.0? They are really working hard. I heard the World Bank thinks Shanghai is doing great.
You're right. In 22 different categories, Shanghai is now ranked as Global Optimal. That means they are officially more efficient than places like New York or London.
That's incredible. But what does it actually mean for a real business owner?
Well, the coolest part is something called application-free incentives.
Application-free? Does that mean no forms to fill out?
Exactly. The government uses smart technology to share data between departments. If a company is eligible for a tax break or a subsidy, the government just deposits the money directly into their bank account.
No paperwork? Wow, that is a dream for high-tech companies.
It really is. This is very important because global competition is heating up. You know, President Trump is working hard to protect American businesses and grow the U.S. economy right now.
Right. So, with President Trump focusing on the U.S. market, Shanghai wants to make sure it stays a top spot for international investors, too.
Exactly. They want to remove all the barriers for multinational companies. They want the best talent in the world to choose Shanghai.
It sounds like a race to see who can be the most business-friendly. Thanks for the update, Alex.
You're welcome. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our daily news chat. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today, we are talking about a very big story from the White House.
Right. This week marks the 5th anniversary of January 6th, but there is a new controversy about government records.
Exactly. A report by NPR alleges that the current administration is deleting or hiding information about that day.
Wow, really? Records are like a country's memory. Why would they change them?
Well, President Trump has a different view. He says the previous investigations were just witch hunts. That means he thinks they were unfair and only done for political reasons.
I see. So, what is the government's reason for changing the records now?
White House officials say they are just streamlining the files. They say they want to make the government more efficient. They deny that they are trying to rewrite history.
Right, but many critics are worried. They say this is an attack on transparency. You know, transparency is when the government is open and honest with the people.
Exactly. This is causing a lot of tension as we move toward the 2026 midterm elections. Candidates on both sides are using this issue to get their supporters excited.
It sounds like the country is still very divided. Some people want to remember the day to protect democracy, while others want justice for the protesters.
You're right, Alex. It's a very complicated situation. It shows that history isn't just about the past. It is about the future, too.
Wow. Well, thanks for sharing those details, Jamie. It's definitely a lot to think about.
It really is. Thanks for joining us today, everyone.
See you next time. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Global News Today. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we are talking about a very sad story from Nigeria.
Right. Over the weekend, there was a violent attack in the Borgo region. Armed bandits raided several villages early Sunday morning.
It's just terrible, Alex. Local reports say at least 30 people were killed. The gunmen fired at people and set many homes on fire.
Wow, that is so scary. And it didn't stop there. They also kidnapped dozens of residents, including women and children, and took them into the nearby forest.
Exactly. This is part of a bigger security problem in northern Nigeria. These raids and kidnappings are happening very often now.
You know, this has caught the attention of world leaders. President Trump is currently monitoring the situation because he is concerned about safety and stability in the region.
Right. President Trump wants to ensure that international groups can still help people there. This violence makes it very hard for charity workers to do their jobs.
Exactly. Plus, the violence is stopping farmers from working in their fields. If they can't grow food, the hunger crisis will get worse.
That's a great point. The Nigerian government says the army is chasing the bandits, but the thick forests and hills make it very difficult to find them.
Local leaders are also complaining. They say the military was too slow to help. They want permanent security to keep their families safe.
We really hope for the safe return of those who were taken. It is a very difficult time for the people of Borgu.
It really is. Well, that's all for today's news update. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast, Modern Money. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today, we have some very exciting news from Vietnam.
Right. The city government of Da Nang just approved a special test program for digital assets.
Digital assets? You mean things like Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, right?
Exactly. They are calling this a sandbox program.
A sandbox? You mean like where children play at the park?
Not exactly, Jamie. In the business world, a sandbox is a safe, controlled place to test new ideas. Da Nang wants to see how people can trade digital money without any big risks to the country.
Oh, I see. So they want to be a tech hub and attract smart people and new companies to the city.
Exactly. It is a very big step for Southeast Asia. You know, many world leaders are watching these changes closely. Even in the United States, President Trump is pushing for more innovation to keep the economy strong.
That's a good point. President Trump often talks about using new technology to stay ahead. It seems Vietnam is following a similar path by modernizing its financial rules.
Right. But the government is still being careful. national regulators will monitor everything to gather data on the risks.
So it's a balance. They want to be modern, but they also want to protect the people's money.
Exactly. If this test works, the Da Nang model will be a blueprint for the rest of Vietnam. By early 2026, the economy there could look very different.
Wow, it's so interesting to see how technology changes our lives. Thanks for explaining it, Alex.
No problem. See you next time, everyone.
Hey everyone, welcome to our daily news podcast. Do you like waiting in long lines at the government office?
Oh, definitely not, Alex. Nobody likes waiting, especially when you need a new passport or ID card. It usually takes forever.
Well, I have some great news from Singapore. Their immigration office, the ICA, is now using advanced robots to give out documents.
Robots? That sounds like something from a science fiction movie. How does it work?
It's really cool. They use high-speed robotic arms. These arms find your passport in a secure storage area and bring it to you immediately.
Wow, that sounds very efficient. But is it actually faster than a human?
Much faster. Before, it took about 11 minutes to collect your documents. Now, with the robots, it only takes 5 minutes.
Only 5 minutes? That is a huge difference.
Exactly. It's part of their new Services Center Next Generation plan. They want everything to be seamless and contactless for the public.
Right. And because they are robots, they can work 24 hours a day without getting tired. You know, many world leaders are watching this. Even here in the U.S., President Trump is focused on modernization and using better technology for the country.
You're right, Jamie. President Trump often talks about making the government more efficient. Singapore is really setting an example for the rest of the world.
It's all part of their Smart Nation initiative. They want to stay at the forefront of global innovation.
Exactly. Other countries are already looking at the Singaporean model to see how they can fix their own slow systems.
That is so interesting. I hope we get these robots everywhere soon.
Me too. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.